Salve discipuli and salve omnes. Welcome again to another episode of Latin in Layman's. I wanted to do something that, kind of struck a chord with me by some awful rhetoric, or really just going about it the wrong way. Just really like by the initials of RFK. There was a speech being given about how autistic people and or people having autism, I would rather say it like that. I don't like saying autistic. Those having autism will never live a life fulfilling as to those that don't have autism. That is entirely incorrect, I do believe. Autism is a spectrum, and the spectrum doesn't mean that it goes from least to most severity or anything like that. It's like an undulating wave, unda in Latin meaning wave. So there are certain people that exhibit more severe cases and some more mild. I got a little autism in me. I know I do. I'm just not going to be able to ever get the testing done because it's so astronomically expensive and really hard to do around here. Um, that being said, though, you guys have also diagnosed me with two other things, being ADHD and being Jewish. And I think that you guys are both right about those as well. That being said, though, we're going to talk about autism and we're going to talk about some other character traits. And before I get into it, I got a Ko-Fi. You can go support me there. Give me a little tip. I got a YouTube. I got a Spotify. You can hear me on a longer format. I'm doing this all over the place, you guys. And before I actually now get into the autism, what I would talk to my students about a lot of the time, and you know what? I'm gonna take a seat for this. Anyways, what I would tell my students, because I had a lot of students that had a lot of accommodations and stuff like that, things that they needed in order to level the playing field. And I would just tell them, because they'd be frustrated. They'd have dysgraphia, dyslexia, something else, I'm not going to get into that. But I would be like, you guys, we're playing this video game called life. You are the main character. And, well, we don't get to choose the level in which we're playing this video game, unfortunately. Some of us are playing it on medium mode. Some of us are playing it on easy mode. Some of us, like you and me, I know I'm playing it on hard mode. My students, they're makes life a little bit more difficult. But that being said, we encounter the bosses faster, we level up faster, and we get challenged more often. And the more challenge you encounter in your life in general, the more failure that you traverse from, you ascend from, you become a better person. And those kids, they went through a lot of adversity. You got to check to make sure it's still doing the deal. It's almost dead. But at the end of the day, they should reflect and be even more proud of themselves for doing something that, they had a little obstacle of. So, with that being said, now let's get on into it. Because you guys, maybe you're playing the video game on easy. Maybe you're playing it on hard. I hear you. I see you. Life's hard right now, and I get it. And I feel like a lot of us are feeling very, very, very hopeless and or nihilistic. Nihil, meaning nothing in Latin. Nihilism pertaining to nothing. But I think that we can glean something and or come together with love, connection. I've met so many amazing people over this app, and I've met a lot of people that I will block because they are crass and don't see me as a human. But for those that see me as a human, and how we can actually come and coalesce into this parasocial community where we talk about language and etymology and just anything and everything, I think it's so beautiful. It's so important to invest in. So I want to say that. And now let's get on into it, because what do you see right above my head? You see autism. Aut, coming from autos in the Greek, which means self. Self, pertaining to self, like autobiography. Auto, self, bio, life, graphos, writing. A writing of one's life. Yourself's life, essentially. An autograph. Your signature, essentially, right? Auto just pertains to yourself. And you know what? You are unique. You are divergent and you're neurodivergent. You're not neurotypical, but if you're neurotypical, I don't really associate with people like that because I can't imagine. Like everybody that I know is just very cerebral in nature. I think about neurotypical people as I'm gonna get some flack for this, but if you guys remember Tropic Thunder, talking about a movie getting canceled, um, Ben Stiller when he was Simple Jack. That's what I think of when I think of neurotypical people. Don't take offense to that. Don't take it personally if you're neurotypical. But I think that you should identify as neurodivergent no matter what because you have a die apart and or away. Verg comes from, well, to turn essentially, to turn away from. It turns away from the norm. So if you didn't know, now you know. Autism, though, you guys, nothing, no, it's just you. Be proud of who you are. You're unique. Maybe sometimes you struggle to love yourself. I do. That's why I look in the mirror sometimes and I tell myself I love myself until I start smiling and thinking it's silly, and then maybe I cathartically just go into tears. For real. Yeah. I'm a feels guy. So then, with that being said, though, we have depression. Something else that people deal with and are dealing with a lot right now. D, meaning down or down from, sometimes away from here. But in this case, we're going to do down from. Press comes from pressus in Latin, having been pushed. So in this case, depression, having been pushed down. And isn't that the case where you just feel the weight of the world pushing you down? You have no energy. You don't want to get up. You want to isolate. And then you further want to isolate. And then it becomes a perpetual cyclical cycle of isolation, depression, feeding into one itself until you realize that you got to get out. Or you got to go call a friend. You got to go hang out with some people. And that'll lift you up a little bit, maybe. I feel you guys. I feel you. It's really wild out there right now. Dementia. That's going to be our last one here. Wanted to do another D1 here. D meaning, in this case, not down from, but more so away from. Mentis in the Latin means mind. All right? So, if you have ia, mens, plus de, you have a mind away from. And in this case, this is where you get the term anosognosia, where I did that term a while ago, where an means without, nosos means disease, and then nosia means the knowing. So the knowing without a disease that you have are typically dementia patients because they don't know that they have a mental degradation. They don't have that. They don't know that they're having a cognitive decline as it's happening to them. And if you see that firsthand, which I have, it's very heartbreaking. So my heart goes out to those people as well. And also the amyloid plaque thing that we've come to realize is not a thing anymore. We got to figure out a little bit more. Science is continually proving itself wrong. It's humble in its endeavors. It's not the amyloid plaque. They call it type 3 diabetes. I don't know what Alzheimer's is. We don't know what Alzheimer's is. What are emotions? What is sadness? Why do I feel sad and then all of a sudden I have tears that produce, or these glands that produce tears from my eyes? Or when I'm angry, if I get so livid that maybe I get red in the face or something like that and I get hot and sweaty. What are these somatic responses to these very, very esoteric, very, very just abstract things? What is an emotion? For real. All right, I'm done. This has been a long one, but I thought I'd just sit down, talk with you guys, and tell you how much I love you and I see you. And whether you're autistic or you're not, or you're neurotypical or you're neurodivergent, I love you. I appreciate you. And we just got to throw more love into this world because there's too much hate and there's too much divisiveness that are putting us apart. Tempo says to